spoon. He eats too much fudge. He's, right, fat man. He likes lots of candy. Tubs of ice cream. Could I get seconds and thirds? He's fat man. Fat man. He's fat man, all right. Fat man. Fat man. He eats too much food. He's a glutton. That is Mr. Drew Brees. I saw earlier, I think he's pushing a betting website. He got struck by lightning in the commercial, something like that. Is that the latest and greatest? That's a kind of a interesting topic. I remember they have a great HBO special on about Shaquille O'Neal right now, and they didn't mention this surprisingly. They mentioned some of the sponsors, but Shaquille O'Neal's whole plan when he became a pro, got drafted by the Orlando Magic, his agent, his marketing folks, it was connect with the number 2 product. Don't go with Coke, go with Pepsi. Don't go with Nike, go with Reebok. It was always the number 2 product with Shaquille O'Neal. That was the original plan. And the number, base, not only get a huge chunk of money, like you're going to get going with the primary product, the number 1 product, but you're going to get a percentage of the increase in sales. And Shaq drove the sales. So it's a delicate balance when you talk about companies and people. You're endorsing products, you're endorsing companies. I do it on this scale we're talking about, I guess on the most basic, simple level. But someone like Shaquille O'Neal, Drew Brees, how much scrutinization is there or is there not? With Shaquille O'Neal, there seemed to be a definitive plan. We're going to go with high-quality companies. They just happen to be number 2 in that category, not number 1. And we're going to make them number 1. We're going to compete with the number 1. That was the kind of concept, mindset they went with. Drew Brees, I think you pretty much toss almost any product out there. Drew Brees is going to hype it. I mean, it's a betting site now, the one where he's getting struck by lightning. It's no big deal. It's legal. I don't have any betting sites. I don't have any injury attorneys. Even when I had Greg DeLeo on, I mean, is Greg DeLeo handling injury cases? Yeah, but he's a defense attorney. He's helping people. He's not out with commercials with get a check and get a new car and standing in front of a new stereo rack or whatever the angle is. Get more money. No, I don't have the gambling interests. I don't have the injury lawyers, and I don't have the latest and greatest, these insurance people. Hi, you're an adult, but you can't handle your insurance claim like an adult. Insurance company beating you up. I mean, I don't know. Do insurance companies have a goal of giving you the least amount of money available? I mean, possible. Yeah, that's what they'd like to do. If with every claim, do they do that? Or just some claims they're like, hey, here's your money, and it happens to be exactly what you need to get it done right. I think there always can be some scrutinization, and there can be some formula, some method where, hey, man, even though your roof was fine, that's why the appraiser didn't notice anything wrong, and you didn't notice anything. Actually, like, we noticed a screw loose, and you can get a new roof. That someone pays for that when you're doing things to your house that don't need to be done, that some company came in and, hey, man, we can get this under your claim. Don't you want a new window even though you don't need a new window? So everybody everybody's doing it. I'm going to justify it. So these folks that, hey, you're not an adult enough to handle your insurance claim, we're going to come in and get more money for you. We all pay for that. In Louisiana, we seem to be the hotbed for that. Injury attorneys. I remember they were going to eliminate injury attorneys from billboards. And that legislation, the billboard companies and the injury lawyers just went, nuclear on the Louisiana legislature, which means some Roos Chris trips and maybe a hunting trip here or there, bar tab taken care of. And, they got full-blown ownership of the Louisiana legislature in about a week. That went by so quick. How'd you like to be the injury attorney? You have the billboard, and under your billboard is another injury attorney. Just kind of mind-blowing. We don't play the Fausto's commercial next to the Treyen commercial. One of them is Italian, one of them is Chinese. One's on the North Shore, one's in Metairie. They have nothing to do with each other. But this is, hey, go to Fausto's. Fausto's is great. Alfredo's restaurant. Down the block from Fausto's, another great Italian you should try. I mean, that would be utterly ridiculous. So you got like a billboard. It's got an injury attorney on top of one injury attorney on the billboard. I'd be kind of like, dude, I'm buying the billboard. I want to put a restaurant, another business, anything but another injury attorney next to me. And then, my guy, go down any street. I was on Jefferson Highway by Causeway the other day. There must be a dozen lawyers advertising on that corridor. It's beyond obnoxious. Anyway, no, I'm not busting on Drew Brees. Drew Brees, I think, is a good guy, but Drew Brees needs to be careful. Jimmy John sucks. Walk-ons is, whatever. I'm not going to eat at walk-ons, but I'm not knocking walk-ons. It's a Baton Rouge thing. It's a sports bar. I mean, it's like, I'm not going to Buffalo Wild Wings, but it's like that, It's kind of like a competitor of that. Probably better. More Louisiana chef-driven stuff. Dude, you never been to walk-ons? Don't dog walk-ons. They got great wings. Anyway, I remember when Subway came to Louisiana, I'm thinking, there's no way this is working. I was like at LSU. That's like mid-'80s. Subway started rolling into Louisiana. I'm like, we have po' boys. No one's going to a Subway. I had Subway one time. I think it was like the meatball marinara. I had like 2 bites of that, and it went meatball marinara in the garbage can. That was like 1989 or something. I think I had to sit out a semester at LSU. Had to go to work. And went to the union, and they had the billboard of jobs available. And there was this dude who had a grass cutting service. I'll never forget the first day. It's like either late December, early January. I'm sitting out of school. And it's Baton Rouge. It's about 7:30 in the morning, and it's like 30 degrees, literally. And I'm pushing this mower, I'm on the first strip of grass. And I step into a hole that's full of water. It's like ice on the top and water, and my whole shoe goes underwater. That's like immediately day one on that. That was just like the sign, like, dude, should have studied harder and stayed in school. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. Yeah, you right. Emmanuel Macron might be listening to the program right now. What is this? You're on the right station, Mr. President. Oh, so fine, 93.9 FM, New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. Cox Channel 4 TV all over Louisiana till 5:30. Spectrum Channel 333 television all over Louisiana till 5:30. CoreyTalks.com, our website, live streaming, lots of other goodies. Plus, you see where we are on radio and television. You can link up to that at CoreyTalks.com or our YouTube channel. Direct link to that, or go to YouTube, Corey Johnson Neutral Ground. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yeah, you're right. Emmanuel Macron, pretty cool. It was a gorgeous day earlier. We got a little cloud cover now. It's fine. We're heading towards nighttime. He'll be out of here in 3, 4, 5 hours from now. Been here a few hours. Jackson Square, French Quarter, the mayor, the governor. I saw Mitch Landry in the background. A lot of other dignitaries and the like. Local media, national media, international media. Lots of folks out on the street cheering him on. I think just more so than you'd see like in Philadelphia or Boston or DC or New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco or Chicago, wherever. You know, we like it. We're used to parades and waving at folks going by. I don't know. It's just a great scene in the quarter. Lots of pageantry, the French flag. Just pretty cool. Showcasing New Orleans for the world. Showing the world New Orleans at its best. What we are at its best. Got a good one lined up for you on this Fantasy Friday. Michael Hecht is next.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore and Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about fresh local fish like flounder, snapper, and speckled trout, fried, broiled, or grilled. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, local spots. NOLAAC.com, local spots.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Not a politician or part of a political machine. Corey Johnson.
I propose that I use what's left of the town treasury to move to a more prosperous town and run for mayor.
In Metro New Orleans on 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. That's right. It's Friday. That means the weekend smack dab in front of us. And what a great Friday. Not only national, regional coverage, but international coverage. French President Emmanuel Macron in New Orleans right now. And so far, the visit seems to have gone off without a hitch, like perfect. Blue skies, walking the French Quarter, great crowds cheering him on. Anybody shooting any video with a phone on social media looks fantastic, but you've got scores of local, national, and international media, professional photographers with not only Macron and local dignitaries, but the beautiful French Quarter in the background. It's millions and millions of dollars in free publicity, and it's international. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Sync's got to be enjoying this.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, it was today was a good day for New Orleans. Everything cooperated, and I think it's indicative of how, even though we're a small city in size, in reputational stature, we're one of the biggest in the world. We're up there. And I had the honor of being able to meet the president and his wife, and either they were truly delighted to be here in New Orleans and in Louisiana, or they were extremely good politicians, because they just really seem to be delighted in a place that exudes such French culture and history and language. And so it was, I think, a good day for Louisiana on a reputational front, no doubt, but also some important discussions about climate initiatives, about LNG for France coming out of places like Venture Global and Plaquemine. And I think for the French president, he has a mission of spreading French language and culture. So a chance for him to lend his support to all of our immersion schools and such. So, yeah, but as far as I can tell, Corey, the only thing that was a hitch was they had this whole protocol down, and we were waiting for him at the Cabildo, and he was supposed to come into the Cabildo and go inside. And next thing you know, he's down there in the area where they're usually having tarot card readings and breakdancing, and he's got his jacket off and he's waving and hanging out, and it looks pretty cool. Gave his security a fit, though, I think.
And the lucky dog consumption, just a rumor.
Just, you know what? If you said the French president ate a lucky dog, my response would be J'accuse.
Founded as a French city, Michael, Louisiana Purchase, buying, the whole territory from France. And then just today, I mean, New Orleans at its best.
Yeah. Pretty weather, pretty architecture, historically connected. But also, if you talk about the reasons why they're here, it wasn't just past history. It was what is happening today with decarbonizing our industry, what's happening today with exporting natural gas to stabilize Europe politically relative to Russian natural gas. So this wasn't just a nostalgia tour, there was real current and future relevance, which makes it nice.
Does Governor Edwards talk about hey, why don't you bring some Airbus jobs here and we'll bring some Latrim jobs to France? Is there ever that kind of discussion?
No, I think there is. Now, I was not in the discussion between the governor. There was a very small discussion with the governor and a very small number of energy companies that I was not in. But I think that's the context for a lot of these discussions, is what we can do to mutual advantage. And so, there are a lot of French companies here in Louisiana. They support thousands of jobs, have invested tens of millions. Companies like Air Liquide, Veolia, AXA. So there's a strong relationship in technology, in healthcare. So no, this was not sometimes you have these trips, Corey, and you're like, man, that's just a boondoggle, wrapped in a free trip, deep fried in an excuse. That's not what this one was. This one has some integrity to it on a bunch of levels.
I respect Macron's people. Someone knows someone in New Orleans well, and it was the right New Orleanian, not the wrong one. Macron's not visiting, no offense, Vets and Cleary right now. He went to the French Quarter. He went to Jackson Square. He walked in the quarter. He went to the historic New Orleans collection. I think he's at NOMA right now at City Park giving a speech on the French language. And it's, we could almost say persistence in our state. He's going to go somewhere nice for dinner tonight with his wife and some local folks, a world-class restaurant, which will fit right in with the guy from, France. And then he's going to Frenchman Street after that, not Bourbon Street, Frenchman Street, the Marigny Triangle, go check out some clubs, check out a little music, and then beeline to Louis Armstrong and get on the Airbus 330 and fly back to Paris overnight. He's doing New Orleans right, Michael. Someone in his administration talk to somebody that knows New Orleans well.
Well, a couple of things stuck to me. One is, it's a hell of a commitment that he made, in his trip to New Orleans. I mean, it's a lot of time for a head of state to spend here, right? It was not an in and out.
He's at Paris. He's at home right now. If he would have just left D.C. this morning for Paris, he's home.
That's right. And, this was coordinated through the French consul here and in Houston. And, Consul Barra here did a fantastic job, and the consulate in Houston did a great job planning it. We were involved in a lot of the details and the protocol. And it's been well executed. And and I think a nice shot in the arm, a reminder again of the relevance and the persistence, as you said, of New Orleans.
Michael, before we move on, any final thoughts on Macron and the visit?
Well, it kind of continues, because next week I'm shipping out for a long weekend to Paris on the Air France flight, which flies out on the 8th and comes back on the 13th. And, it's unclear to me exactly how much to make out of this flight, but there's no doubt that the fact that it's full, I was told that the final business class seats are now selling for $22,000.
Wow.
It indicates.
You hear that, Mayor Cantrell? $22,000 for first class. Get one of those before they're gone. Go on, Michael.
Oh, man, Corey, come on. Come on. But anyway, so, I think that it's all this stuff might just be a serendipity, but there's a lot of things happening at once involving France and Europe. I know the governor is planning on making a trip out there too, out to Normandy. I'd see some of the sites. That's what he's very interested in.
Now, this Air France flight on the 8th and the 13th, it's coming in on the 8th and going to Paris on the 8th, and then coming into New Orleans on the 13th and going to Paris on the 13th, or it's coming in from Paris on the 8th and then goes back on the 13th?
No, it's 2 round trips. Yeah.
Okay, so it's 2 round trips. And the reason is because there's a big convention in town with that's a bunch of French-based companies?
Well, yeah. I mean, the ostensible reason is that there's a hematology conference going on that's got a lot of folks coming over. But I don't, that doesn't quite explain it, Corey, right? Because we have big conferences all the time, and we're not getting special, 777 flights or whatever.
Okay, I got you. So, all right. I thought it was strictly because of the conference.
No, I think it's a conference, and it gives them a chance to test the route, frankly. And as the BA flight keeps coming back stronger and stronger, and I think we'll get back to 6 days a week, then there might be the demand to support that flight at some point. When we did our original study, it came out as number 1 London, number 2 Paris, number 3 Frankfurt as what made the most sense, and you couldn't get all 3 at once. And we have London. We had Frankfurt for a while. Now it kind of went away with COVID and Condor, but that still might come back. And there's
Condor still exists.
Condor still exists, but I don't know the exact state of it because I believe it was bought. It went into bankruptcy. It was bought by, I think, the Polish airline LOT. And then COVID hit. So I got to figure that out. But I'm told that the Copa flight, it might come back next year. There's some other flights that we're poking around at. I mean, everybody's been kind of taken aback by the depth of the tourist demand. I mean, people are just spending money and they're psyched to be here. So
yep.
The airlines are trying to respond, whether it's the international ones or just Breeze that keeps adding another route, it seems, every other week.
Hey, Michael, I got to take a break. Can you stick around and we can finish up this airline talk? And then that map that came out, that there's a nice color over New Orleans as one of the fastest growing cities. Or do you have to run because it's Friday? We can do it next week. It's up to you.
No, let's do one last quick segment. Let's also hit the budget hearing yesterday, which was a big deal.
All right, that's perfect. Sounds great. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. This segment's always brought to you by Latrim. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Paris Road in Chalmette.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Tommy's Lock and Alarms is now hiring service and installation technicians. Great benefits, great pay, take-home vehicle. Apply today. Tommy'sLockandAlarms.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Producing tomorrow's talk radio today, Corey Johnson.
This is tomorrow's newspaper. Precisely. I already went further ahead into time to see what else happens.
Your View, Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. And live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
Future. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson with you every week when Michael Hecht joins us on a Friday. It's brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant. Thousands of employees, like over 1,200 in Elmwood. They're about to hire a few hundred in Hammond. For a full listing of positions available, go to Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. Michael Hecht is with us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. Michael, how many times a week right now is the British Airways flight? Is it 4 now?
I think it's 3 going up to 4 starting in January.
All right.
What the deal is there.
And this Air France flight, there and back on the 8th, there and back on the 13th of this month. You think it's like a test balloon thing. We've sold it out. Has the British Airways flight during that same time period dropped off? I remember when you were selling the BP flight, you kind of figured out about 500 people a day leave Louis Armstrong International and end up in Europe. I think
that's right. That was good memories, like 523 or something. PDUs, they called it. People direct each way. Right.
And has that number increased maybe a little bit where we can justify that Air France flight, you think, too?
Yeah, I don't know, but I have to ask. But, I think it would, because what happens with these flights is that they call it stimulating demand. Once you have the flight, more people start, taking it or building around it.
Yep.
And so I think you've probably seen that to some degree, with this. So we'll see, but certainly it's not a bad thing, that they're throwing this flight out there and that it's successful. And I guess a test balloon is probably the accurate way to describe it.
Yeah. It's a shame. I don't know what happened. I guess years ago they changed the regulations. I don't think like a British Airways or Copa flight or Air France flight, I don't think it can leave a domestic location and go anywhere but back to its country of origin. Like I don't think a BP flight, a British Airways flight, can go out of Chicago to Mexico City. And what stinks about that, our old British Airways flight was London to New Orleans, New Orleans to Mexico City. So
it was a cool flight.
You got a 2-for-1 there, Michael, where some of the people got off in New Orleans, some didn't even get off the plane. And then they continued on to Mexico City. It was just a fuel up in New Orleans for them. And then you also get people getting on the plane going from New Orleans to Mexico City, vice versa. It was pretty cool. We had a 2-for-1. We had a New Orleans to London flight. We had a New Orleans to Mexico City flight. But I think that can't happen anymore.
No, it's illegal for some protectionate reason.
It's a bummer.
But it's a super bummer, man. But that would be a cool flight, right?
Are you kidding?
Go to New Orleans, then go to Mexico City. Oh
yep.
My God.
Yep. No,
that's culture for you.
No, exactly. So if Air France were to get a green light, you think it'd start like maybe 1-2 flights a week, something like that?
Yeah, that's how it would start out, like the BA flight started out.
Yeah, maybe the days that BA isn't flying or would not be flying or something to that effect. Who knows? Anyway, no, that would be incredible. That's good to hear. Hey, before we get into that map I saw about cities and growth, and I know you know what I'm talking about. What's important about the city budget? Now, I mean, that's such a silly question. What jumps out at this particular city budget that is so important, Michael?
Yeah, what's so nicely done. What's so important is that this budget, the council and the administration got together and passed the vast majority of the priorities that we've been asking for in terms of police pay, money for recruitments, bonuses, money for equipment, money for IT, investment in youth services. It shows a real commitment to getting the things done that everybody's been asking for with the NOLA Coalition and the community. And that's exciting. You know, it's nice that it seems that we've gotten beyond the finger pointing and the kind of, zero sum type of mentality to actually try to do the right things for the city. And it's not going to make a difference immediately, but over time, this is going to start making a difference in terms of safety on the streets. So I applaud the administration, the council, but also frankly, the business community, the NOLA Coalition, the nonprofit community, everybody for saying in unison that we need to spend this money in a way that creates a safer city. I think that the elected officials seem to have responded.
Michael, you see those by the way, the space station had a great flyover over New Orleans over the last few days. Some great shots if you go on the internet of New Orleans from the space station. Literally flew right over the city. But
what do you see from up there?
What's that?
What do you see from up there when you're at the? Well, when you look down in New Orleans, what do you see? Do you see the domes? Do you see Super Discount in Chalmette? What can you make out?
You can clearly see Super Discount store in Chalmette. There's no doubt about that.
That's huge.
Yeah, I think you can see like the dome roof in the CBD buildings. But what's interesting, like the whole kind of south western side of Lake Pontchartrain's very dirty, like not polluted. The water's got a lot of soil or sediment floating in it. You can kind of see like a cloud. That's the biggest thing that stuck out. The barrier islands off of the Mississippi Gulf Coast and Louisiana, chandeliers and stuff. The Mississippi River zigzagging through, but pretty neat. But at nighttime, Michael, they'll show these shots of like the whole North American continent. You can see you can almost see which cities are the big cities because they're so lit up. And New Orleans lights up. But I was bringing up that reference. They had a map that showed cities in different colors and extreme growth, and most of the map was white. Like most cities aren't having any kind of growth, much less extreme growth. And New Orleans made the map where we're seeing some growth. They mentioned the port. They mentioned the tech sector. One other thing I forget that they mentioned, but maybe the new airport. Hospitality. Yeah. Tourism and conventions coming back. Exactly. Talk to us about that.
Well, everybody was kind of surprised to see this.
I was because it's Austin, Nashville. It's all the bad boys on the list.
Yeah, and it's good news. But basically, they looked at over the last year GDP growth, and New Orleans came in number 9 in the country. And part of that was, because it was a comeback. We took such a hit from tourism during COVID, so that's a bad thing. But it's come back really strong, so that's a good thing. But then the other reasons why we're doing so well were the port and energy. And those are, foundational industries that you don't, see in the headlines as much, but are foundational to what we do. And so, I think that it was important to see those data to recognize there's some good stuff going on here, despite all the storm and drang that we always are hearing about. But yeah, I think we were like, right ahead of Orlando and right behind. I have to pull up the map again, like Dallas or something. But it was a nice group to be part of.
And I guess
Number 9.
I guess you get a lot of those. Then natural momentum starts building, and then you get people locating companies and manufacturing facilities and the like in the state and the region.
That's right. Yeah. So it's all about trying to build momentum from those stats and frankly from the visit from Macron. And you try to get into the onto a good path dependency. That's right. It's all about momentum. It really does matter with cities, right? It's hard to knock off good momentum, and it's hard to get out of a rut.
All right, we'll let you go on this one. It's a little bit of a curveball, but it's applicable to what we're talking about. What would be that transformative kind of generational type acquisition for the city that we could look back in a decade and go, that's what turned the tide. That's what got us competing with Austin and Nashville now. What do we need to happen? Is it the electric car corridor and battery plants on I-12 on the North Shore? Is it something coming out by NASA and Folgers in the East? Is it Avondale? What is it? Something we're not even thinking about? What transformative acquisition do we need that is the tide turner for the city?
I really think it's kind of the opposite. Instead of it being a big acquisition, I think it's getting the blocking and tackling right and getting the little things right. Not that public safety is a little thing, but public safety, infrastructure, roads, education. It's those building blocks that need to be in place in order to, frankly, attract, an electric car corridor or really build a robust tech sector, or become the MD Anderson of Alzheimer's. So we're going to keep going and taking those swings and trying to build, for example, the new green hydrogen cluster that we're building. But it really is the fundamentals that we need to focus on, because if we can get those fundamentals to, and we're not talking about a Singapore level, we're talking about to just a regular B plus level.
Yeah, you're right.
Then all of our challenges are going to be growth challenges of price appreciation and traffic and all those good problems to have that are the opposite of stagnation. No, so it's something that's as sexy as getting the basics right.
Yep. Hey, Michael Hecht, always a pleasure, brother. Have a great weekend.
You as well, my friend. Appreciate you.
Me too. That's Michael Hecht joining us every Friday from Greater New Orleans, Inc. That segment always brought to you by Latrim.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30. And they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockandalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal: everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good, and we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Yeah, you, right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Friday afternoon. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, visiting the city of New Orleans, founded as a French city. You got to love it. No, and really, I don't know. I like this kind of stuff because it's New Orleans at its best. And so far, this trip is going as planned. Comes to New Orleans right after lunch. He's in Jackson Square around 1 o'clock, walking around, heads to Royal Street, the New Orleans Historic Collection, or the Historic New Orleans Collection. Just New Orleans at its best. People clapping and cheering and lots of French flags and the French colors of the flag draped all over the quarter, and just local media, regional, national, international media shooting video with professional photographers, not only getting Macron, but taking in all our beautiful architecture and showcasing that. The people cheering, the beautiful blue sky. Folks around the world are like, it's December. People are in short sleeves. It's beautiful weather there. Wow. We should be a retirement haven like Arizona is, like Florida is, because of our weather. No, gorgeous day, perfect day. It's just New Orleans at its best. Watch the local news, watch the national news, because they'll even have it on national outlets. Go to social media. Lots of folks shooting their own video and posting it. No, it's just, this makes you proud. It's New Orleans at its best. It's really good stuff. Check it out. Hey, speaking of really good stuff, Fury's Restaurant in Metairie. You know, I'm always mentioning the onion rings and the gumbo and the turtle soup and local fresh seafood like flounder and speckled trout and snapper. You know, it's got a lot of New Orleans little local specialties too, like white beans and pork chops and things of that nature. It's Fury's Restaurant, open till 9 p.m. tonight. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie. Go check them out. You won't be disappointed. This goes in the cuckoo bird category. I mean, literally, cuckoo bird category. Louisiana's Attorney General and sadly a candidate for governor, Jeff Landry. I'm not making this up. He set up a tip line for concerned citizens to call or go online to report librarians or teachers they suspect are sharing sexual material with minors. Now, that's a given. Any teacher that's sharing any kind of sexual material with minors, it's already against the law. People that would discover that would already call authorities. There's no tip line needed. Hey, I'm Attorney Jeff Landry. If you suspect someone's robbing a bank, here's the tip line. You don't need it. When it happens, you call. No, it's about LGBTQ type stuff. Now, this is kind of a catch-22. Don't think like, oh, the liberals have it right. Have you seen this teacher, Jason? This trans guy's trans over to a girl, literally has, like, I'm not exaggerating, breasts that I don't think they're connected to his body, like he physically had the surgery. I think wears some type of bra or something. The breasts are like the size of basketballs, like twice the size of his head. No, Google that. Trans woman with breasts the size of a basketball, and you'll see it right away. Teacher, put teacher in there. So you got these kids like 12 years old. You got this guy that's transed over, and, you know, hey, I got no problem with what you do, but it's still not the most feminine looking person. It's like Bruce Jenner. I mean, I don't think anyone looks at Bruce Jenner and is like, definitely a woman. Without a doubt, I'm 100% certain that's a woman. I think in person, especially the size of Bruce Jenner, feet, hands. Are there women that big that have big feet, big hands? Sure. Not all the time and not just generally. So there's nothing wrong with it. Do whatever you want. I've got no problem with it. But it's not something that is, oh, yeah, no doubt, that's just a woman. Okay, that's a man that's transed over to a female, and that's fine. But this, are you looking at these photos of this lunatic? I mean, it's over the top. And that's just insane. That's just insane. There's no female teacher, even with like breast implants that are gigantic, are teaching a bunch of third graders dressed provocatively. And this guy who has transed over is now female. And you might as well have, he just waves flags, has a spotlight on him all the time. It's beyond over the top. It's beyond over the top. I guess that would be pun intended. The top. Anyway, no, that's where the lunatic left wants to stick this down kids' throats. And, you know, I don't think 6-year-old or 8-year-olds need to learn about sex in general, much less LGBTQ and all this other stuff. I remember being a kid. I remember our cousin that was gay. I never thought anything about him being gay or anything sexual. Just thought he was a little feminine or different, or that's all. I don't know. I don't have to learn all the details and know all the facts. As time goes on, it's like I'm going to a movie. You've seen the movie. You don't have to sit next to me and tell me what's next. I'll watch the movie. I'll figure it out on my own. What's that, Blue Boy? 5 o'clock power hours coming our way next. That's right. What? It's a Friday weekend. Frank Brigtsen in the 5 o'clock power hour. You're right, Blue Boy. And he's going to discuss food, something we all love in New Orleans. Blue Boy, you're a genius. 93.9 FM, 107.9 FM, New Orleans. Blue Boy's right. Stick around. Frank Brigtsen, 5 o'clock power hour.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot.
For years, you've been hearing about the virtues of Springfield Wellness Center and their successful treatment of over 1,000 individuals who overcame their substance addiction. Now it's your turn. Here's Springfield's founder, Paula Norris Medier.
Our Brain Restoration Plus Detox Treatment is an intravenous nutritional supplement that restores the brain's chemical imbalances. Our patients detox with minimal withdrawal symptoms. It also blocks the craving, which is unbelievable and which is why most people say they have a hard time believing, but it restores neuron function. Many treatment programs use one drug to get you off of another drug. At Springfield, we treat the problem. Addiction is first a brain disease. If you or a loved one suffer from substance abuse, please just give us a call.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center now, 504-291-2800. That's 291-2800.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With smart home technology, control lights, locks, cameras, thermostat, and your alarm, all from your phone or laptop. Smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Hi, I'm Tom Selleck from Magnum PI. A reverse mortgage might be exactly what you need, freeing up the extra cash to do the things you want to do. You can trust me. I wouldn't be pushing this reverse mortgage on you like a madman if I didn't believe in it myself. And no, of course not. I'm not doing a reverse mortgage. I've got a lot of money. I don't need to do a reverse mortgage on any of the multiple properties I own, but you should. All right, I'm not Tom Selleck. I am Corey Johnson, though. You are on the neutral ground. Yeah, you right. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program, coupled with the fact that it's the 5 o'clock power hour. Yeah, you right. Gotta love it. Boy, it's like summertime out there. Emmanuel Macron about to speak at the New Orleans Museum of Art in City Park. He's already been to the historic New Orleans collection on Royal Street, already visited with the mayor and governor, French Quarter, Jackson Square, walking around the quarter. He'll go get dinner somewhere nice. Then he's off to Frenchman Street. And then Louis Armstrong and an overnight flight back to Paris. What an honor, the French president extending his visit to D.C., kind of a 3-4 day visit to D.C., 3 days, adds a day and comes to New Orleans. Just incredible. What an honor. And New Orleans putting its best foot forward. The quarter looked great. The crowds were great, cheering on the president, the French president. Really great. I mean, New Orleans founded as a French city. The Louisiana Purchase, America purchasing New Orleans and Louisiana and all the territory from France. Anyway, really good stuff. Local, regional, national, even international media attention on this. Lots of cameras, lots of social media, lots of news showing New Orleans at its best. Blue sky, sunny, nice day, mild weather, walking through historic French Quarter, all the buildings, the dignitaries, just free publicity. Great for New Orleans. No downside to Emmanuel Macron's visit. The opposite. What a blessing. What a plus. Fantastic. Check it out. I don't watch local news. Honestly, I couldn't tell you who anchors 4, 6, 8, or 26. I got no clue. Do not watch local news. Never. Not a minute of it. Hey, let me catch the sports. I want to check out the Saints highlights. Not a minute of local news. I go online. I go to the local websites, 46826, NOLA.com, Lens, all these different sites. Pick and choose the stories that I think are important. Ignore the ones that are fluff. I don't have 30 minutes. Not going to click from channel to channel and watch other newscasts, all that. I'm not dogging it. I used to watch it. I just don't anymore. I don't have time for it. And the technology allows me to get everything that they're showing without having to watch it. Go online, pick and choose. Plus, I'd rather read the story than watch the video. Nothing burns me up more than when you click on a story and it just has the video. I got to click on the arrow and watch this. Can I read this? Because I can skip a paragraph. I can blow through a paragraph. I can get the gist of the story, move on. Video, I got to sit here and watch all the fluff. So I don't watch local news, but I will tonight. I'll watch some of that. I can't tell you the last time I was on Channel 15, the Channel 4 rebroadcast. That used to be so popular. Does anyone watch that? I'll be watching it tonight because I want to see Macron and all the, video of him in the quarter at NOMA on Frenchman Street tonight before he beelines back to Paris on an overnight flight. No downside to that. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a good one. Michael Hecht joined us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. for a good 30 minutes. You can always check that out on YouTube after the fact, or Anchor, iTunes, Spotify. A lot of folks checking out our Willie Fritz interview earlier in the week, the day before he said he was staying, asking the right questions. It's not difficult. The difficult part is the journalist that goes, that's the right question, I'm not going to ask that. That's got to be difficult. Or not knowing the question asked, that's got to be, you're in the wrong business. I don't know what to tell you. The questions are pretty obvious. Hard to miss the questions that need to be asked. Hey, Frank Brigtsen's going to join us in about 10 minutes. Yeah, you're right. From his restaurant in Uptown, specifically the Carrollton neighborhood, more specifically the Riverbend, Dante Street. Frank Brigtsen from Brigtsen's restaurant in about 10 minutes. Hey, on Fridays, a little after 5 o'clock, because 100% of the work week is in the books now for most of us, and 100% of the weekends in front of us. It's kind of like the work week is ending, fading into the weekend starting. It's sort of this limbo period. We like recognizing this very period because the work week has been jettisoned, and we are welcoming in the weekend, rest and relaxation and the like for most of us. Anyway, we acknowledge this very time of the week by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. It's like you're leaving the plant. You got the hard hat under one arm. You got the lunch pail under the other. You're talking with your coworkers. You're beelining to the big yard to jump in the car and head home. That's what happens when the 5 o'clock whistle gets blown. 5 o'clock whistle, appropriately brought to you by Super Discount Store in Chalmette. That's right. There's an actual sponsorship of the 5 o'clock whistle. Doesn't it make sense that it would be Super Discount Store in Chalmette? Because they've got the lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, cold beer. You go pop a cold one after work. Super Discount Store in Chalmette, by the bottle, by the 6-pack, by the case, by the pallet full. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. A ridiculously huge inventory of all three. The fluke, they do not have what you drink, they will get it. And it'll cost you less than anywhere else. By the case full, by the pallet full. What are you waiting for? If you buy a lot of alcohol, wine by the case, beer, you could save hundreds, thousands of dollars over the year. When you get it for the lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law. That would be Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Super Discount Store!
Correctamundo. 5 o'clock power hour. Yeah, this one goes into the cuckoo bird category. Louisiana Attorney General gubernatorial candidate Jeff Landry has set up a tip line for concerned citizens to report librarians and teachers they suspect are sharing sexual material with minors. Now, any teacher sharing sexual material with minors would be reported anyway by any adult that found that out. Hey, the AG set up a tip line for anyone suspecting a bank robbery. Just not needed. What it is a tip line for concerned citizens to report librarians and teachers they suspect are sharing LGBTQ material with minors. A minor is someone 17 or under. That could be a junior or senior in high school. Some kid with a full beard, you know? Very adult-like. No, this is homophobic Jeff Landry. Jeff Landry is a gay brother. Jeff Landry, his other brother, the rest of the family does not acknowledge the gay brother. They think he could be reformed and chooses not to and is choosing this deviant behavior. That's Jeff Landry. Jeff Landry and his brother have a staffing agency. It's amazing. Wouldn't you like to have a staffing agency? They supply jobs to the liquefied natural gas industry in Lake Charles, primarily the construction of the plants. Instead of talking the talk, walking the walk, hiring Louisiana workers, they shouldn't have the staffing agency to begin with. One brother's like an insurance agent in Lake Charles or something. The other is the attorney general for the state. Do that job, Jeff. So they have this staffing agency, and they're so greedy, they import workers from Mexico. And then Jeff Landry sits on the Harvey Marine Board. And the Harvey Marine Board people are like, no, he doesn't do anything. We just like having the AG on the board in case we need to pull that card. He gets $1,000 a week for doing nothing, sitting on that Harvey Marine Board. $1,000 a week. That's Jeff Landry. And now this tip line. Not only corrupt and crooked, but a lunatic, insane.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockandalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
We're supposed to have temperatures in the 60s and 70s for like the next week. 8 days. If it does rain a little, bit, head to Helm Paint and Decorating and pick up your paint. Choose your colors. Get all your supplies. And then when that rain stops, those next few days where it's sunny and nice, get outside and knock out that painting project. 60s and 70s over the next week. 7 Helm Paint and Decorating locations. Free delivery, 2-hour delivery anywhere in the metro area, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. Benjamin Moore Paints. You can pick your colors online. It's too easy. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, do it once, do it right. Let them steer you in the right direction. You go to Helm Paint and Decorating. Very nice Friday. Emmanuel Macron in town at the New Orleans Museum of Art as we speak. He'll then be getting a good meal somewhere in the city, then hitting Frenchman Street, checking out some music, and then it's off to Louis Armstrong International later tonight. He'll get on that French presidential jet, and he'll wake up tomorrow in Paris. Pretty cool. Maybe he's heading to Brigtsen's. I don't know if Frank would tell us. I don't know if Frank being on the show right now, I'm going to think that Emmanuel Macron does not have a Brigtsen's reservation tonight. But you never know. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing great, Corey. Happy Friday.
You never know, Frank, that Jim Smith guy or John Doe, that could be Emmanuel Macron.
Absolutely. You never know. I remember years ago, Governor Edwin Edwards was going to come eat. And that afternoon, some of his security people came to pre-check the place. I don't know, checking for exits or whatever. But he did come. Yeah.
No, you had that wrong, Frank. They were seeing if they could sneak a girl through one of the windows. It was the opposite. One security. It was hope you have a lack of so we can sneak in some women. All right, enough of that. You want to know the great thing? I mean, I don't think, I know. Emmanuel Macron could show up tonight at Brigtsen's under a fake name, and it would not matter at all to you guys. You would just do what you do. I mean, what would you do differently if he was coming? You'd put up maybe a French flag or something like that. I don't know. You know, you're not changing the menu or the food or what you do.
No, really, the best thing for us to do is to treat him like any other customer. That's always the best results.
Yep.
Years ago, a long time ago, food rider came in and the staff said, so-and-so is on table 14. And they ordered a steak rare, and I fussed with it so much it got overcooked. And I said, from now on, don't tell me when food critics or writers are here. I want them to get just what everyone else gets. And that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I when I go to Brigtsen's, I don't get an extra shrimp in the barbecue shrimp or a bigger piece of trout, or I get what everyone else is getting. That's what I love about New Orleans. It truly, it's like that State Farm commercial with Pat Mahomes. Everyone's getting that treatment. Everyone's getting the same thing, and that same thing is 5-star world-class cuisine. By the way, what's on the menu tonight, Frank? What you got cooking? Anything that's on the menu right now that maybe wasn't on the menu a week ago, a month ago or so?
Well, tonight, as funny you asked, we just added back our very popular eggplant parmesan, which is 3 rounds of eggplant panade and breadcrumbs and topped with parmesan and mozzarella melted. and we serve that with marinara sauce, of course, and spaghetti bolognese.
Wow.
And it's so popular and so good. And honestly, between you and me, I put it on for me because that's what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. But it's something. We had veal parmesan for a long, long time, and then we switched to the eggplant, and everybody loved it. So we brought that back today.
What's the bordelaise sauce all about?
Well, we start with olive oil, garlic, parsley, and we save the water that we cook the pasta in and use it like a stock. So we add a little bit of the pasta water and then finish it with butter. So it has both olive oil and butter, garlic and parsley, and it's a creamy sauce rather than oily, which is what sets it apart. And then we garnish that with a little grated Parmesan.
Wow. Nice. What else is cooking, Frank?
Roast duck has been really going strong this week, Corey. We, of course, do a boneless, crispy half duck. Served à l'orange with an orange sauce right now. That's our favorite sauce this time of year.
Yeah, the summertime you had the cherry sauce, right? When the cherries were ripe?
Correct. So this one's made with navel oranges. We're waiting for the Louisiana navels to pop up. And that's served with a baked sweet potato, a praline baked sweet potato. We bake the sweet potato and cut it in half and crumble some pralines in the middle and then warm that up till the pralines melt.
What's up with you people with the sweet potato? It's good just like it is. Brown sugar, pecans, pralines. What's going on?
I know. I like them just plain. I'll bake them at home and I put salt and white pepper, touch of cinnamon and nutmeg and butter and eat it just like that. They're so good.
Yeah. No, they are. But yeah, no, a praline in there, just taking it up another level.
Yeah, it's really, really good. But yeah, I think sweet potatoes are underutilized. We also have our, for dessert, our sweet potato bread pudding that's served with a pecan praline sauce. So I guess there's a theme there.
Yeah, I think sweet potatoes are underutilized. I think every New Orleans restaurant that has a baked potato should have a baked sweet potato. It's just
I agree.
I don't know. I think it's a superior potato. I'm kind of blown away the lack of momentum. I don't know. I can't believe it's there. It's so far behind a regular like Idaho baked potato. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is underutilized. And if you go to your grocery now, you'll see they still have plenty of them featured in the produce department. My store did today. They bring in a lot for Thanksgiving, of course. But they're good all year round. And this is the time to be eating them. They're so simple. Just throw it in the oven.
Maybe that yam name gets people off of them. Yeah.
Hey, I always like Trappy's yams. Those are good, man.
But I mean, a yam's a sweet potato, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yep. Frank Brigtsen's with us from his world famous restaurant in the Riverbend on Dante. Hey, Frank, before we find out what fish dishes you got going, we're rolling the dice on a fluke, even though the Tulane's got their championship game tomorrow. Any openings tonight or tomorrow night? A cancellation or no?
There might be a crack for a deuce, a table for two. Marna's on the phone now. You can give her a call. And by the way, Marna and I will be attending the Tulane championship game tomorrow. I'm finally getting to Yeoman Stadium, and what a day to go.
It's sold out. It's going to be a gorgeous day. It's 3 p.m. The weather's going to be 70 degrees, 68 degrees. It's perfect. We're in November. It's the championship game for the first time in the history of Tulane football, playing for a conference championship in a championship game. You picked a great game all around, Frank. It's going to be one of the best games in the history of Tulane football tomorrow afternoon.
I agree, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. I'm so proud of that, and I'm so happy that Coach Fritz is staying with us.
Yep.
And good things ahead for them, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, the phone number at Brigtsen's is 861-7610. 861-7610. Put it in your phone already. Brigtsen's 861-7610. What you got going fish-wise over there tonight, Frank?
Well, we have beautiful tuna, blackened tuna with smoked corn sauce. Striped bass will be topped with a crab crust and broiled, served with lemon crab sauce. And we're still getting very nice speckled trout, trout meuniere with roasted pecans. And trout should continue a couple more weeks. And then hopefully the flounder will come back. So either one of those we'll do meuniere with. And then also today, Chef Samantha made a special cheesecake on the menu, snickerdoodle cheesecake garnished with homemade puff pastry. And I just had a bite, and it was killer. So all these things we're talking about, you can also get them for takeout, too. Don't forget that. Anything on the menu is available for takeout. You can go to the website, brightsens.com, and pick and choose what you want, and then give us a call.
Chicken, pork chop, filet, all on the menu?
Absolutely. The pork chop's been selling well, too. That's with Chef Larry's pork debris sauce and mashed potatoes. Really, I eat that sauce about 3 times a week just with rice. It's so good.
I bet. No, because it's got the protein with the debris, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's about a 4-hour process. We roast pork neck bones, make a rich pork stock, and then take ground pork and cook that really, really dark and flambe it with cognac, and then mix it with the stock and let it reduce till it's thick, like a demi-glace, and it is pork on pork on pork.
Wow. So good. And that filet, speaking of what, a kind of a wine reduction demi-glace on that?
Yeah, that's right. It's a classic French Marchand du Vin sauce, except that we use tasso as a seasoning meat instead of ham. So it's tasso, mushroom, shallots, green onions, red wine, and beef stock. That steak is garnished with fried shallot rings.
It sounds like a Paul Prudhomme influenced gimmick there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was introduced to his Marchand du Vin back at Commander's Palace. It was, very popular there, and we've made it sometimes at Cape Paul's, but I always thought it was one of the best beef sauces in Creole cuisine. And I think that and Béarnaise have kind of stuck out to me as great beef sauces. So we do the Marchand du Vin.
How does a Béarnaise? That's what the more of the that's yellowy.
Béarnaise, yeah, that's a hollandaise with a tarragon and shallot reduction, and that's really good too. Occasionally we'll do that for a special occasion. I do a dish I call beef Rockefeller. I put a Rockefeller mix on the bottom, and then the steak, and then a fried oyster and Béarnaise over the top. Oh my God,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
New Year's Eve or special dinner kind of thing.
Yeah, Frank, I grill a great steak on a Weber grill. Warren LaRue said it's hard to screw up a piece of fish or steak if it's good. So I make a really good steak. I got friends that are Italian. Their grandmother makes great red sauce and, all that kind of stuff. I love all that. But boy, I love folks that are like, why am I going to the Italian joint? My grandmother makes a great red sauce. Why am I going to pay for that steak? I make a great steak. I hear you, but you don't make that sauce that Frank Brigtsen makes for his steak. So it's just those chef-driven sauces. A cook like me doesn't even know where to start. So that you start off with that Angus filet, which is great all by itself. But then that sauce, it's like, I don't know, it takes it up a bunch of levels. Can't be beat.
Yeah, it's like, it's not a steak. It's a steak dish.
Yeah, exactly.
So everything together. So Marchand du Vin, the fried shallots, mashed potatoes, sauté veg. So it's a dish rather than just a piece of steak.
That's so brilliantly said. Yeah, I mean, I love a steakhouse, but a steakhouse is like, yeah, steakhouse. This is steak at a gourmet, French world-class level. Yeah, it's a dish, not a slab on a plate.
Speaking of our Italian heritage in New Orleans, we had a New Orleans royalty in last night, Corey. our good friends Joey and Mrs. Rendazzo were in with a couple from Bricado's.
Wow.
Like, oh my gosh.
Damn.
I get to cook for these people.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was great.
Rendazzo and Bricado. Did they bring a pint of ice cream over or what?
No, just good company and laughs.
Yep. Boy, Bricado's, how blessed do we have that little joint?
Oh my gosh, yes. They've been through a lot. Everybody has, and Mr. Rendazzo, what he does at his shop is he's creative and a good business person. Understands the community. This is a very specific food community in New Orleans area, and you have to cater to that and make yourself unique and give people what they want, and they do that at Rendazzo's.
No doubt. Frank, I'm getting a text coming in right now. Let's see. Marna. Someone's supposed to be cooking right now? That's all it says.
I'll be on the grill station if you need me.
Any final thoughts, Frank?
Weekend. Go Tigers, go Green Wave.
Have a good time tomorrow at Yeoman.
I sure will. Knocking it off the bucket list.
Yep, I might see you there tomorrow afternoon. Thanks, Frank.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you're right. That's Frank Brigtsen from his restaurant, Brigtsen's in the Riverbend on Dante, about 50 feet off River Road, Leak Avenue. You can park in that Dante Square shopping center, which is 10 feet away. I mean, it's perfect. Easy parking, quaint restaurant. A lot of folks are like, dude, it's jammed up against the river. That is absolutely incorrect. It's the Riverbend area is easy to access. Because you can come up Claiborne and you get up Carrollton, you're a mile up Carrollton, 8-10 blocks, you're there up Carrollton where it's one lane. You folks in Old Metairie, Old Jefferson, Brigtsen's is less than 5 minutes from where Causeway hits River Road. Less than 5 minutes, right up River Road. Cross the train tracks at Oak Street, stay on River Road, about 6 blocks up on your left, Dante, hook a left. Park right in front, park at the Dante Village Shopping Center on River Road. No, it's hard to beat Brigtsen's. And because it is, this world-class restaurant, yeah, it's for special events. But because it's priced right, I mean, I'm glad Frank's not on the phone anymore because I don't want to give him any ideas. But honestly, if I owned Brigtsen's, I'd jack up every salad and soup about $2-3. I'd jack up every appetizer about $2 or $3. I'd jack up the price on every entree in between like $4 and $8. No, it's priced right. It's moderately priced. There are a lot of other restaurants in that, quote, category that don't live up to Brigtsen's as far as the food experience, the dining experience, and, 20, 30, 40% more expensive for no reason. Brigtsen's restaurant, tough to beat. Every Friday, Frank Brigtsen joins us on the program. Yeah, tomorrow, 3:00, Frank will be at Yeoman Stadium, Uptown New Orleans. How cool is this? And yes, it's a sellout. Pretty much. Some Central Florida will return some tickets every now and then. So there might be 10 tickets here, 20 tickets there, that type of thing. So just go on the site. I'm sure there's some aftermarket tickets that are selling for a premium. 22nd ranked Central Florida. They beat the Green Wave 38-31 at Yeoman like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Early last month. Central Florida beat Tulane 38-31 at Yeoman. That quarterback Parmalee, who is questionable for the game, went crazy, had a fantastic game running and throwing for Central Florida. 22nd ranked Central Florida, they're 9-3. 18th ranked Tulane, 10-2. The Tulane Green Wave football team was 2-10 last year. Hurricane Ida, all that. They have totally flipped the script. Coach Willie Fritz, who is not going to Georgia Tech, staying at Tulane. 10-2, 18th in the country. Tulane wins tomorrow at home at 3:00 against Central Florida. They'll be playing New Year's Day. It might actually fall on the 2nd this year. I think it's January 2nd. They'll be playing in Dallas, Texas at the Cotton Bowl, a major bowl for Tulane. for the first time since like 1940. I mean, that's like 83 years ago. That's like when Young's Dry Cleaning just got started. Tulane last played in a major bowl, 1940. Tulane wins tomorrow, and I like their chances in this revenge game. They're favored by 3.5. You get 3 for home field. Vegas likes Tulane barely, giving them a slight edge. I like that, where the money is. I don't care about the betting. I don't bet. 3 o'clock tomorrow, American Athletic Championship game. 22nd ranked Central Florida, 18th ranked Tulane. 3 o'clock. Sold out Yulman Stadium in Uptown. It'll also be seen nationwide on ABC. Also at 3 o'clock from Atlanta, Georgia. Number 1, Georgia, taking the trip about 70 miles across the state, taking on 18th ranked LSU. That's right. Coach Brian Kelly, year 1, has LSU in the SEC championship game. No one anywhere, I don't care if you're the most biased LSU fan, no one would have predicted this, playing in the championship game. LSU's 18th ranked. They're 9-3 overall. I'm trying to find a silver lining in that flat game last week at Texas A&M where LSU got beat by a then 4-win Texas A&M team. Texas A&M was 4-7 going into that game. 4-7. They came ready to play. It was at home. It was their bowl game, final game. Jimbo Fisher was focused. LSU wasn't. But I almost think that loss refocuses LSU. Like, I'm not going to say it's better that they lost than if they won, but I think they will be locked and loaded and fully focused for Georgia. There's no way they're reading the headlines anymore. They're buying into anything. They're focused on the number 1 team in the land, Georgia. And I would think Georgia has to be overlooking LSU just a little bit. Because they can. Georgia on a 1 to 10 scale can play like an 8 or 9 game. And LSU can play their best game. And Georgia probably still wins. But if LSU plays like a 9 or 10 game, one of their best or best games, and Georgia plays mediocre, LSU could win. No, Georgia has a lot more talent. If you ask Brian Kelly's like where Georgia is, that's where I want LSU recruiting talent-wise, year in, year out in a year or two. Where Georgia is right now, that's the goal. Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, that top tier, the number 1 tier of college football where you're in that playoff just about every year. Shooting for a national title just about every year. That's where Georgia is. Kirby Smart's got them there. Number 1, Georgia, 12-0 for the second straight year, undefeated in the regular season. 18th ranked LSU. Here's another one. Georgia can lose to LSU. They're still in the playoff. Georgia can lose to LSU. They're still in the playoff. LSU beats Georgia. They're not in the playoff. LSU beats Georgia. They're not in the playoff. Georgia loses to LSU. They're in the playoff. Georgia lost to Alabama last year in the SEC title game. Then went on to win the national title. Saints play the Bucks Monday Night Football. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. Every day we broadcast live on the radio, on television, live streaming CoreyTalks.com. We're on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost a thing. Every day we do it live from the Buddy Diliberto, River City's Total Maintenance Studios. River City's Total Maintenance. No gimmicks. No gimmicks with River City's Total Maintenance. I love these ads. If they don't do it right, it's free. Yeah, I hope so. You didn't provide the service. If they don't fix it, you don't pay. You think? Wow. First off, River City's Total Maintenance, honesty. That's the number 1 thing. Incapable of screwing you around. They will not do a service, repair, or replacement that is not absolutely necessary. And then the necessary part. They're air conditioning and heating experts. They know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. Years and years, decades and decades of experience. They've been at it over 40 years. They've got over 30 techs, hundreds of years of experience. They diagnose it right. They fix it right the first time. They're not troubleshooting and replacing parts and trying to figure it out as they go along. So they're air conditioning and heating experts that diagnose it right and diagnose it quickly. I'm not kidding you. Lucas last time diagnosed my air conditioning problem over the phone. Over the phone. Honest air conditioning and heating experts that come immediately. Your AC or heat's not working. They come right now. They know you're stressed out. River City's Total Maintenance. Find them at NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
For years, you've been hearing about the virtues of Springfield Wellness Center and their successful treatment of over 1,000 individuals who overcame their substance addiction. Now it's your turn. Here's Springfield's Dr. Richard Medier.
For over 20 years, we've successfully treated patients with substance abuse issues and have also had success with patients suffering from chronic stress, depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. We uniquely address restorative issues at the cellular level that impact mental health. We treat our patients with an intravenous nutritional supplement that helps restore various brain functions. Most of our patients have greatly reduced withdrawal symptoms. We work toward maximizing nutritional interventions while utilizing traditional medication interventions when needed. Our treatment works toward restoring the brain's health while returning the patient to a normal, dependent-free life.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center now, 504-291-2800. That's 291-2800.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top Benchmore exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home. For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, let's head down to NOMA, New Orleans Museum of Art. Emmanuel Macron. Check out what he's saying for a few minutes.
It's only a 50-year period of time that I was referring to, but at the same time,
obviously,
there is already, and there's also this wonderful exhibition being organized at the Quai Branly Museum in Paris. And then this band that welcomed me at the airport. And this familiar difference, as I was saying, this is very much bears witness to what is real. It is an ongoing story. And Louisiana is part of our history, thanks to the pioneers and those who came at the time of Louis XIV, and then came the wars and the decision to sell this piece of land. But in any case, they were here, men and women who considered that choosing a language was a way of remaining faithful to values, to a history and identity, a struggle. And some white Creoles as well as Afro-descendants who so much love the French language, and also because Acadians in very troubled times chose to come here, and somehow they managed to build something absolutely unique in this place. So if I'm standing here before you, of course, like I said, it gives me great pleasure to be here, but it is first and foremost to tell you that we will continue to defend this language that was chosen here, defended, and on this land where the Council for the Development of the French Language was set up as early as 1968. Well, that is, as a matter of fact, the only American agency dedicated to the French language. And many initiatives were taken. A lot has been done to promote the French language on the continent, but in particular here. And beyond what's been done already for so many years in Louisiana, and which in a way is feeding the efforts for the French language all around the world, not just here in the United States as well and on the entire continent. We decided to go further because we're convinced that teaching French is first and foremost about our schools, and for many, learning a second, if not a third language is a must. So in 2017 was a first step when in New York I announced an initiative And let me tell you something that is very French, is that we take many initiatives for French, the French language, but we do that in English. Don't ask me why. So in 2017, we took the French dual language fund to develop some bilingual curricula in American schools. So 5 years down the road, and thanks to the sponsors who invested so much in hiring French teachers and teaching assistants, we have some 35 pupils thanks to this initiative in 29 states, which is an outstanding success. But we want to do more. We want to expand. And I also would like to thank those who made it possible. But what we would like to do is to broaden this program and start from kindergarten to university. And we want to fight for the French language not to be for the elite. And of course, we wanted to remain the language of great American talents. And some of you share their lives between France and the United States, but we also want to make it accessible to all. So that's the purpose of this second French for All initiative.
That is the translator for France's president, Emmanuel Macron, who is speaking right now at the New Orleans Museum of Art in City Park. And that speech was in recognition of the French language still being spoken in Louisiana. The one sad thing, I think about 20, 30 years ago, there was like 1 million people in the state that could speak Cajun French. It's down to a couple of 100,000 now. I mean, I would be a major proponent all over Cajun country that it's sort of mandatory type of thing it should be like grammar school, middle school, just ingrained in these kids to kind of sustain that. And I wouldn't even mind seeing it in New Orleans and not just at the French speaking schools, at least just some basics. I mean, I went to Trinity on Jackson Avenue for 7th grade only. And I'm telling you, we had Bunsen burners and hydrochloric acid and beakers and goggles and gloves and all kind of stuff in the chemistry lab. You had to take either Spanish or French, one of those two foreign languages, in 7th grade. And then you had to take Latin. That wasn't a choice. Latin was a class you took. And that was strictly to strengthen your vocabulary. So knowing even parts of a second language, there's no downside to that. There's no downside to that. It's not a waste of brain space. A waste of brain space is me knowing that Donnie Most played, Ralph Malph in Happy Days. That's a waste of brain space. But knowing a foreign language a little bit, Cajun French in a culturally rich South Louisiana, I don't know. That seems like a no-brainer. Hey, are you buzzing across the causeway right now, beelining to the North Shore? You're going, what am I going to get for dinner? I got a guaranteed home run. Trey Yen, pick up a to-go order. Call it in right now if you're on the causeway. Pull right in front. They walk it right out to you. Mom, dad, the kids, they'll be fired up if you roll into the house with a big to-go order from Trey Yen in Mandeville. Don't forget the tung cho sauce. The phone number is 985-626-4476. 626-4476. Trey Yen in Mandeville. Yeah, go check it out. Call in a to-go order. Hey, you folks on the North Shore, conveniently located at the foot of the causeway. That means you folks on the South Shore, 25 minutes from Lakeside Mall. You with friends or family in the car, before you know it, you're pulling right up to Trey Yen, 25 minutes from Lakeside, worth the drive, because it's not Chinese food. It's Chinese cuisine. Trey Yen in Mandeville. Don't forget their signature tung cho sauce. Boy, is that good. Sweet, yet spicy, little vinegary. It's so good on anything fried rice, butterfly shrimp, those chicken wings, the pork. So good. Tung cho sauce from Trey Yen in Mandeville. Yummy. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. joined us. And if you missed the 5 o'clock hour, you just missed Frank Brigtsen, chef extraordinaire, owner of Brigtsen's restaurant. What's that, Blue Boy? The weekend has begun. Yeah, you right. You want some quality food. You want some quality petting, some good walking. I get it, buddy. It's coming. 93.9 FM New Orleans. Have a great weekend. Pels tonight in San Antonio.